Parashat Mishpatim contains the prohibition of basar b'chalav, milk and meat. Lo tevashel gedi b'chalev imo. You may not cook a kid in its mother's milk. Now this is a strange prohibition of kashrut. Because, let's take for example the prohibition of not eating certain non-kosher species. One is not allowed to eat chazer, a pig. One is not allowed to eat certain animals, certain birds which are birds of prey. A nesher, an eagle, etc. One is not allowed to eat certain species of fish, a shark, etc. You're not allowed to eat it at all. It's a non-kosher species. And yet milk and meat is different. Milk by itself is a kosher product. Meat from a kosher animal is a kosher product. And yet when you put the two together, they become prohibited. Seems to be something strange. It's not the only example in the Torah. There are other examples of kilayim, forbidden prohibitions, forbidden mixtures, that you're not allowed to put two things together. And that creates a forbidden mixture. So for example, you're not allowed to have wool and linen together in the same garment. You're not allowed to plow together with an ox and a donkey. What is the thinking behind this? And the Sefer HaChinuch says something quite incredible. He says that the prohibition of milk and meat is in fact related to the prohibition of sorcery. In what way? And he says we see with sorcerers that what they do is, they might not know how it works, but they take two products that are inert, that are non-violent, that are not poisonous. But the combination of the two is extremely dangerous. We see this, for example, in science. You can have a metal, and the metal is not harmful whatsoever, but when you combine it with a particular liquid, and that liquid could be water, you could have an explosion. So it is in the spiritual world. The spiritual world and the physical world mirror one another. That you can have an item which is completely, as we would say, parav. It's fine. There's nothing negative about it whatsoever. But when you put it together with another product, which itself is also inert, it creates a toxic combination, which is completely negative. Milk by itself is fine. Meat by itself is fine. But when you put them together, the combination spiritually is deadly. Perhaps the reason behind this is because milk represents life. It's how the animal, the mammal, feeds its young, whereas meat represents death. Of course, the animal is dead. And death and life don't mix together, whatever the reason is. But you can have two things by themselves work perfectly, put together, create a noxious mixture. And so we see it is in the realm of human interrelations and relationships. Sometimes you can have a fantastic man, you can have a fantastic woman, great people. Put the two together, it's a disastrous relationship. It's a toxic relationship, doesn't work whatsoever. Not to say that each thing by itself isn't a good thing, but they just cannot work together as a third unit. What they create together is completely negative. And so it is with milk and meat. By itself it's fine. Together it's deadly. I wish you a Shabbat Shalom.